everybody. Welcome to a bonus app of the Powell Not Found podcast. We are talking Xbox today. Yesterday at 3 p.m. during the workday, Xbox decided to do their developer stream. And since I was at work, I could not see it. I could not watch it, could not check out what was actually coming out. And so I figured today, since it is snowing in the Washington area, that we would go ahead and talk some video games since it's a snow day, since it's freezing out, it's cold, and it is a blanket of snow that has not been seen around here in a long time. It's something that's probably not as common as you might think in this area of the Mid-Atlantic. But let's talk some Xbox. This is supposed to be, from according to all the hype that was happening before this came out, was the debut of the Indiana Jones game. And as a fan of Indiana Jones, and as a fan of Harrison Ford, and as a fan of playing games that emulate Indiana Jones, I am kind of a little bit excited to see what they have in store and what kind of game this is going to be. People familiar with Indiana Jones know that Indiana Jones, obviously, is this spark and the inspiration behind the Uncharted series, which was on PlayStation for a long time. And then Uncharted was such a famous video game because it was based on a famous movie that it became a movie itself, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. And now Xbox, in order to counter those decade-long run, was like, should we make our own game? No, we will just take the license and go from there. So I've got this thing loaded up here, ready to go. Just before we start going, shout out to all the video producers in the world who do this every single day, because just linking my audio here to make sure that I can hear it through my mixer and link it to the right things has been more of a challenge than I'd even anticipated. I've got a mixer in front of me. I've got a Blackmagic Atom. That's mine. That's my personal one. And I'm feeding the stream through the Blackmagic back into the mixer, or into OBS back into the mixer. So if things are delayed, if things are a little bit off kilter, that is why that's going to happen. So, but without further ado, let's get into this. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see if we can comment on it. Again, this bonus episode is brought to you by the Powell Not Found podcast. Let me get some fanfare here going. Thank you, everybody. Powell Not Found podcast, again, is my channel. It's my YouTube channel. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Let's try to build this thing up to a legitimate show on the internet. Like and subscribe. So let's take to this here. Boom. And let's see if this works. Bam. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear this. Core Studios. We went on an acquiring spree. Okay. I like the mix in this very dramatic mix of footage and this 2D little cartoon kind of treatment of it going on. Let me put this down a little bit. We're going straight to Obsidian first, huh?
Welcome to Obsidian Entertainment. I'm so proud to share with you our upcoming fantasy action RPG, Avowed. Avowed is an adventure into the heart of the Living Lands, a frontier at the edge of the known world, where you must put a stop to a mysterious spiritual plague and discover a secret at the heart of the Living Lands. At Obsidian, we love creating worlds with deep themes, dynamic gameplay, and thoughtful reactivity. And Avowed is no different. We set out to blend the believable and fantastical, to give players a world and experience like no other. It's colorful, it's vibrant, it's strange. It's one of the most incredible settings in the world of Aora. There's going to be a lot of great secrets to discover, one of which has a really personal connection to you as the player character, and you're going to have a great time getting to know those secrets and leaving your mark on the world. And when it comes to encounters, our combat brings the best of the moment-to-moment fun that comes with action-oriented gameplay and
I would assume because this is a developer direct, this is going to be a little bit more than just trailer. This is going to be kind of a deep dive into what they do behind the scenes.
Our team's overarching goal
That would
is
be my
to
goal.
empower
That would be
you
my
with
thoughts.
choice. So we developed a flexible combat system that allows you to quickly swap from spellcasting and sharpshooting to melee combat. We want to give you the freedom to mix and match your loadout to fit the way you want to play from moment to moment, uninterrupted. For all battles, you can combine a variety of weapons, attacks, and abilities for tactical advantages against a wide range of enemy types. It's not just hacking and slashing. You're making real-time decisions about when to use your abilities.
I like the people in the background playing video games on a couch.
And special attacks. If you choose to approach combat with a one-handed wand, it feels quick and snappy when dealing damage to enemies at mid-range. Using the Tangle-Foot ability, you can stop enemies in their tracks, giving you the opportunity to focus on weaker or tougher combatants in an intentional and controlled manner. It's important to pay attention to the types of enemies you're dealing with. Some units are extremely defensive, some are brutally difficult, and others you must make sure you prioritize, or their healing capabilities will put you in a tough spot. To help with the different encounters you will face, we provide customizable loadouts that can be quickly switched during combat. That means you can play however you want. Equip a sword and shield and charge into battle. Dual-wield pistols and control the encounter mid-range. Or even dual-wield wands to feel like a gunslinging mage. You could use your enchanted wand to freeze enemies, and then use your offhand weapon's power attack to shatter them. We've worked hard to keep you constantly engaged as battles unfold by creating a balance between pressure and manageability during combat.
Players will have ample choices for how to build and progress their envoy in the world of the Living Lands as they get to know the game.
I like the subtle slider effect that they've got going on. I do feel like they're punched in a little bit too much with the videography, but
like this side quest you may encounter in Shatterstar.
that extreme close-up look is a thing, though. I think you see it a lot in like The Last Dance and, or sorry, not The Last Dance, but the like other sports documentaries. You see that cropped face look, which is a style.
Manu, Kiri, Naoki, and me. Training the Captain Wiki. Trying to keep the Earthborn safe.
In other words, you're a gang of vigilantes. Not that I want to judge.
Here.
The character models kind of look a little bit plasticky, and this is coming from somebody who's not a 3D guy, but they look good, but they're a little bit shiny. I don't even know how to describe it.
Tough decisions in complicated situations.
My squad and I rested in the cave by the water last night, and as we were sleeping, we were ambushed by those miserable Zords. I was so surprised, and it was so dark. I just got separated from everyone else. Look, I can't face those monsters alone, but I have to know if anyone else made it out. Of course he did. Sergeant
Hard cut.
never has a thought he won't say out loud. So what did he tell you? That Captain Wiki was sick? That I was paranoid? That I was a dumb baby? I heard it all often and loud. Wait, if you found Sergeant Sui, why is he not here with you? What happened?
At the end of the quest, you have a choice. When you confront Private Naoki, if you believe the story he's told you, you can hand over the badges and let him go back home.
You're right. Real battle isn't something you can prepare for, is it? It's not my fault. No, they They should have never camped in the cave. I'll take the badges. I'm going back to Third Ward.
But if you confront him, if you believe that he fled the site of the battle as an act of cowardice, then he might challenge you to a fight to reclaim his honor. Either way, when you return to town, you'll see the consequences of your actions and the choices you made during this quest. Creating an immersive experience like Avowed is anchored in the world we built. Art director Matt Hansen and the team have worked to create a unique, colorful, and dynamic visual style.
From the outset, we knew that we wanted Avowed setting.
I gotta say, those
to
lower
feel
thirds look really
rich,
nice.
Weird,
The
and
typing,
wonderful.
I wonder because I was
We
just
found
playing with it.
inspiration in a
I wonder
wide
if the
swath
typing
of real-world cultures,
animation
helping
in
create a
is
unique
the
RPG
just the
experience.
preset that they changed in
By
After
contrasting
Effects,
the vibrant
or if it's something custom that they
verdant
did.
spaces with sickly ones, we
It
can
it looks a
better
little bit
deliver
different, but I just wonder if they just slapped that on,
for our
just to have it
players.
animated.
The living lands is a continent of untamed
Beautiful
vast,
videography, though.
widely varied biomes, from luxuriant forests
I'm not
to
sure that I'm
volcanic
that
wastes.
intrigued by the
And each
concept of this
those
game,
regions
but
itself is a conflux of storied landscapes.
this kind of fantasy stuff doesn't do a
All
lot
the
for
regions
me.
have a lot of special things
Especially if they're
associated
hinting
with
that it's
them.
going to be like
But
a
I
Dark
have a
Souls
deep
kind of
place in my
stuff,
heart
but
for
it's
Shatterstar.
not.
As you're
Or
wandering ways to
heavy
Shatterstar,
combat
you
that you're going to have to
might
grind and
notice
grind and grind. That's just not
vibrant
my game
jewel of
anymore.
color. By transitioning from destitute, muted tones of a wasteland of sand and marching in towards a beautiful oasis, there's the opportunity there for love,
I wish I knew how to make
for
water that well
adventure, and
in
even a little danger.
3D. That's really cool looking. That's really
We hope you've enjoyed this look at Avowed. We're
Really
thrilled
nice-
to share more
nice
about
style.
the game in the coming months, and we can't wait for you to explore
This
the
is
living
Avowed.
lands when Avowed launches this fall.
I wonder if they're going to keep to a certain time frame. I wonder if it's just, hey, these are the things that are out this year. And if they already said that, then hey, we know our answer. But I wonder if they're going to stick to that. I like the little mask on Avowed. Fall 2024. Okay. Now we're going to another studio, I'm assuming? I like that. This is a nice treatment. Let me actually put this up a bit. Ninja Theory. This is just a tour of like, look how beautiful these offices are. You think your
I'm
office
Dom
is
Matthews,
nice?
studio
Go
head
to the
here
bars.
at Ninja Theory in Cambridge, UK. We're now in the final months of development on Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and the team is working hard to bring you an unforgettable journey into Senua's unique world and her battle for survival, where we have once again combined high fidelity and immersive presentation with a shorter, narrative-led experience that focuses on the things that we really care about, and that we hope you care about too.
This is Senua Saga.
Senua is back with a new quest. She wants to stop the Vikings who raided her village right at their source, in Iceland. But not just her quest has changed. Senua herself has grown since the first Hellblade. She's made peace with her past
Hellblade,
and is no
Senua
longer
Saga.
in such fear of her visions and voices. While the Furies are still her constant companions, she encounters new people along the way, some of which will value her unique perspective, and others who will reject it.
Little by little, this settlement became my tribe.
In the game, Senua arrives in 10th century Iceland on the trail of Vikings who have been enslaving her people. In the story, we're trying to be as faithful to history as we can up to a point, establishing a solid framework and then building more surreal elements on top. Senua faced up to giants who have plunged the land into chaos, and which in turn has seen the rise of the Droiga, a violent threat that has swept through the settlements she'll discover. Senua will make new enemies and also new allies who will come to see her unique perspective as a beacon of hope. And she'll discover along with us how this viewpoint can have its advantages.
One of the really interesting things about like the color palette for the game is being reflected within the interviews in the background. Like the background lighting is amazing in these interviews. Really, really cool looks. Like really good just general composition in the videography. I can't say enough.
University of Cambridge, as well as people with lived experience of psychosis.
What does this mean?
I can't say though that I feel really interested in any of these games. I feel like this is again just a recording waiting to get to the big game that everyone was looking for.
And battling through encounters with enemies that will push Senua to her limits.
I'd be,
On
yeah.
Saga, we've taken everything to the next level. With a new motion capture space, a bigger stage team, a stunt crew, and a new cast.
We spent a lot of time planning the motion capture shoots, thinking of what events would be
I'd love
good
to see that in
bring into
action,
this fight. Like, how
just
do
to
we
see
make
what
this
the
fight feel
process is
different
like.
from
Like how
previous
long
fights?
does it take
We
to
have
actually
all
do all
combat
this
for the
motion
sequel.
capture? Like when you're planning this,
One of our key goals was
how-
the ability to actually tell a story.
how much time are you like, all right, this is going to take months? This is going to take a week of just intense, acting. How long does the blocking take?
Senua isn't a superhero. She's fighting for survival, and we want the player to feel her struggle in every step of her journey. We want the player to always feel like they just scraped through, just survived it.
Mel knows Senua better than anyone, better than I do. Her instincts are amazing, and she really doesn't need much help from me. On stage, our main focus is storytelling. So I get to watch the actors and see all the beautiful expressions on their faces. And then I have to wait a little while, and then I get to see that all again, in-game, in costume, on location, everything. It's a great experience, a great process.
Every discipline in the studio is unified in achieving a deep level of immersion to help suspend your disbelief and pull you into Senua's story. We were lucky enough to do a
That's
few reference
beautiful.
gathering trips in Iceland.
Jeez.
You have to be there. The sense of scale, everything is incredible. And you see
That
a
does look
scene,
beautiful,
you see a small
but
section of the
drones
game,
make
you're like,
everything look
yeah,
beautiful.
that
So,
works, that's amazing.
I mean, you could put a drone over the worst part of your town, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I gotta go there. Drone footage is that powerful. So.
These voices come to life through binaural audio, which provides a good representation of this type of auditory hallucinations. As we focus on immersion, binaural audio is perfect for this because through headphones, you surround yourself in a three-dimensional space. In the first game, we only applied to the voices.
I think there's like 7 lights in that background that are making that composition or just making the lighting pop in the background. I can't get enough of just how different each location is in these documentaries. They did a really good job. And also keeping it consistent. Which I don't think is again the point of this of this developer direct. It's to commend the videography. I think it's to get people interested in the games. Which again, I don't know if this is the accomplishment. This is really accomplishing the actual goal that they went after. I feel like these things would be a lot more powerful if they were settled within the game that you bought, because you'd want to get as much more information about the game as you can if you're really into the game. But without any kind of context of this, or if you didn't play this This just seems to kind of drag a bit.
So beautiful, and we add that binaural touch of music. So this all creates a very immersive and a very special and unique experience.
Our mission here at Ninja Theory is to
The audio, the panning audio that they were kind of going around is an interesting technique. Wonder what kind of mic that was.
Goes next to deliver something really meaningful for our players.
My hope is that they will really connect to Senua as a character, and even if they can't really relate to what
This reminds me of the Disney documentaries that
relates to that character.
you see on Disney Plus sometimes about how they make The Mandalorian. And if you're really into that, which it's incredible to see all the technology and just see how, and just remind yourself how remedial that the way you're working compared to the way Hollywood's working, right? Or just see the drastic difference is amazing. This is what that feels like. It feels like one of those Disney Plus behind the scenes documentary things. Because ultimately, like, every team is super passionate. Every team's going to tell the same story, but about the thing that they're making, they're going to be passionate about. I think that's why it doesn't really, when you put 4 of these things in a row, it starts to kind of not hit. May 21st. So it does look like they're going to do, all these developer directs are going to be this year, probably. That's cute. Square Enix. I wonder if they did that with just masks, the reveals of all those things. It'd be interesting to go almost frame by frame just to see what they did.
My name is Masaru Oyamada, producer for the Mana series here at Square Enix.
I think this was already announced, right? This is the Zelda-like Mana series. That the Secret of Mana. That's on the. Yeah, back in 1991. Thank you. You already said it. You took the words out of my mouth. Thank you. This is the one that's compared to like Link to the Past in terms of action, because it's supposed to be a Final Fantasy spin-off, but has more like action, right? There are that many Mana games? Oh my god. I played none of them.
これまで培われてきた聖剣伝説としての世界をしっかり感じられるものを目指して鋭意制作中です。フィールドでは自然や生霊とのつながりを感じられる色彩豊かな聖剣伝説の世界を体験してもらえると思います。シリーズおなじみのモンスターたちも本作に登場しています。
So I played some of the Trials of Mana on a demo on the Nintendo Switch, and I bounced right off that thing. The visuals of this game, it just seems bad. It doesn't appeal to me. The 16-bit ones, though, they look like they could be fun. But I feel like the series just didn't translate to what it could have been. And it's a little cute too. デザインの方向性からモデルの完成イメージまでを監修する立場でプロジェクトに参加しました。We'll be hearing from Nintendo shortly about that character. His name is copyright infringement. I have not even been looking at the subtitles. 可愛いだけではなく恐ろしさの部分もしっかりと表現できているのでバトル中はモンスターたちの表情にも注目してください。
これまで聖剣伝説シリーズには空を旅する海を渡る手助けをしてくれる頼もしい仲間たちがいましたが 今作には広大なフィールド探検に欠かせない新たな仲間が登場します。陸上を猛スピードで駆け回ってくれるピックル。ピックルも石井さんが新たに考案してくださっています。
It doesn't seem like there's anything going on in these promos. Again, not the greatest way to show off your game. Ooh, concept art. Oh, maybe not. Okay. I wonder what's the point when you're like a really good artist when you start realizing that you're actually in a different level than everybody else. Like when is it during art class that you realize you can start visualizing or thinking about something and then translate it on the page one-to-one? Or is it still like kind of like a practice makes perfect thing? I feel like I've done a lot of drawings and I have not gotten any better since the 4th grade. And my talent was not high even in the 4th grade. Again, the biggest takeaway I'm having from this developer direct, which maybe wasn't the greatest thing to talk over, was how beautiful their offices are. Like plenty of places to shoot. Plenty of places to, shoot these great interviews.
This 空中でのアクションがバトルの鍵となっており、武器での攻撃だけでなく魔法での攻撃も可能になっています。そして本作ならではの特徴として聖剣伝説シリーズではおなじみの精霊たちがいますが、その力を宿した武器を使うとバトルを手助けしてくれるようになります。
I thought this was going to hit a little bit harder, but oh well.
その効果とともに聖剣伝説の世界らしい不思議な力で爽快なバトルを楽しんでいただけます。
オリジナルモンスターやピックルにも注目してほしいのですが、聖剣伝説ジョンズ・オブ・マナーは聖剣伝説らしさを感じてもらえる作品になるよう。
I wonder how much decision it took to figure out what. So, all right, which one of these plushes are we going to put behind this guy? Let's have a meeting. The one thing as a videographer, the one thing looking at these directs, again, this is not really talking about the actual games that are being showcased, but seeing some of their lights get in their glasses gives me joy in my heart, because that is always like I feel like the toughest thing to do is like, how do you make these people look good but not have it glaringly obvious that light comes in their eyes? But the fact that they're so professionally produced and you still see that, which is really, really fun to see, makes me feel better. Oh, we're going back? Oh, wait, no, this is a different one. This is Oxide. Sorry, I thought we were going back to a Avowed for a second. Welcome to our beautiful office.
And welcome to Oxide Games. We founded the studio in 2013 with our decades of personal experience building some of the most beloved strategy games of all time, like Civilization V. We came together to create something new and innovative in a genre we all love. Our history untold is the game we dreamt of making.
Ara is an homage to historical gamers,
What is it pronounced?
gamers,
Ara?
4X gamers.
Ari?
It features all the depth and gameplay fans of this genre love, where you'll explore the world, expand your nation, govern your people, and engage with your rivals on the international stage. But it isn't just more of the same. With Ara, we wanted to challenge some of the preconceived notions about the genre.
I wonder if they do this again. Like, my thought is, I wonder if the reaction to this
things that we purchased.
kind of go behind the scenes with us, see these beautifully produced videos
Expand the game.
behind the
And make
scenes.
it really good. Hi, Dan. That's Dan. We started in his basement. It's been an
I mean,
process from concept to completion.
again, beautifully made videos. I just don't know if this hits, or this is a really good way to showcase the game or get people excited. Because the ultimate goal here, right, is to get people to buy the games and get invested. But it still seems like this is something you might see within the extras within the game itself. Like, they should include these packages because it's a cool look, but I'm not sure if it's a great way to showcase the game.
While still having agency over their playstyle.
We also wanted to explore more in different parts of history and give players from around the world the chance to see the game reflect their unique perspective and not just ours.
And finally, we knew that for players to feel the impact of their decisions, they would need to see their choices reflected in the game world itself, not just through numbers on the menu. One of the first differences you'll see when you dive into Aura is what we call the living world. It's a procedurally generated alternate Earth, bursting with life, an intuitive, authentic, and immersive space, a blank canvas for players to paint the society of their dreams.
The living world isn't just a map. It reflects the choices players make over the course of the game. They can see everything from the settling of the wilderness to cultural influence on architecture over time to the thousands of citizens living their lives and reacting to the changes. We want players to feel like they're truly occupying the world, leading their people as they thrive and grow. Core to the vision of Aura is our philosophy of rule how you want to rule. And no feature better exemplifies this than the prestige system.
To win the game of Aura, players will compete with their rivals to build the most influential, impressive, and important nation the world has ever known. This is measured by prestige, the player's score that proves their worth as a leader.
The prestige system gives players the chance to decide what kind of leader they want to be. Do they want to pursue great works of arts and culture? Military might? Scientific advancement? The choice is theirs. In Aura, there are no set victory conditions. Players get to decide what is most important to them and focus and prioritize on those goals while still being able to win the game.
Personally, when I play Aura, I like to build triumphs. Triumphs are our collection of incredible monuments and architectural achievements from throughout human
My
history.
God, you imagine you have to walk past that statue in the middle of the day? Oh,
Giving huge
Jesus.
prestige bonuses and game-changing abilities to the nation that constructs them.
Another aspect of Aura that I am personally excited about is our crafting system.
The crafting system
Oh.
offers a unique challenge to the player. that
Every
they
video
generally won't see
game
often in the 4X
wants me
genre.
to make
Succeeding
things.
at balancing,
Just give me the
gathering
item.
things, turning
Just
them into the tools that
stop
you need, and
Minecrafting
finally getting to
every
the outcome or reward
every
of something
video
like an
game.
important improvement or triumph just changes the challenge that exists in Aura compared to other 4X games.
Crafting plays out in Aura at a national scale, with players honing.
I feel like when I see these types of games, like I mean, there's probably a way that I would lose myself in these games. I really liked SimCity in the past, but I ran into a situation where my computer could never run SimCity. So like these games, like you know, I've never felt like I could run it on a computer. I was always a Mac-based guy as a video editor, so like I was never running a gigantic kind of PC. But it just feels like, you know, if this game comes to Xbox, I feel like these games are just not good on a controller-based system. You just kind of like, it's like there's too much menu navigation for wanting to play it on a controller. It's kind of the issue with like when Baldur's Gate came out in PS5. Everyone's raving about that game, but you can't play it on the computer. Kind of loses its appeal a little bit. But maybe that's not the case with the controller support there.
It's not easy sifting through all of history and picking what to include. For Aura, we wanted to offer a fresh perspective, so we looked at cultures and societies throughout the millennia with the broadest lens possible.
Where this approach really shines is in our leaders. Leaders are so often seen as military personnel or prominent government figures, but leaders come in so many different forms. They're thought leaders, scientific and cultural prodigies, and many more.
Each leader in Aura has a number of special abilities determined by their personality traits, as well as a powerful and unique leader trait informed by their contributions to world history.
With a diverse global roster, we know
I think he was
players
reading
will find
from a
leaders that they
teleprompter.
will want to play.
I can't
And even
prove
a
it,
few that may surprise
but it
them
was a
with
good
how
read,
fun it is
but
that
I think he
those
was.
leaders are handed the reins of power.
It's a little
Us at
too
Oxide,
smooth.
Player feedback is the only way to really understand
They
what
probably
you're
all
making.
are reading from a
It gives
teleprompter,
us
to be
that
honest.
priceless perspective from the people we're making Aura for. You.
Building the game alongside real players has given us that critical player feedback. In the end, we believe this makes for a deeper connection between the players and the game.
One of my favorite examples is when we first introduced the concept of dangerous wildlife.
I think it was the documentary High Score. I think I'm 2 episodes into that documentary, and they talk about one of the guys who worked as a Nintendo support help staff, and how he said it was like a dream job, but then it kind of turned into like torture because it was just kind of tough knowing all these games, trying to figure these things out. You're playing video games, and I don't know, maybe he did enjoy it. I can't remember exactly what the resolution was, but I think it was at some point became kind of madness when Nintendo started to take off. That's how I imagine QA is like, where it's got to be, like, I wonder if it's a calm situation where you're trying to break the game, or are you just trying to like play through the game naturally for them to identify bugs? That would be my question. If somebody does QA and can tell me, that'd be great. What is the experience like QAing a game? Oxide, Aura. Avowed, Visions of Mana, Aura, and Senua Saga. Indy? Finally. Oh my god. Here we go. Let's turn it up.
Hej och välkommen till Uppsala, Sverige, här hos
Sweden.
Games. We
Nice.
are really excited to finally be able to share our work on Indiana Jones. Since the first film came out, Indiana Jones has always represented the ultimate adventure.
Until Crystal
Even today,
Skull.
It's one of the most iconic franchises in pop culture.
Until Crystal Skull.
In this game, you aren't just playing as Indy, you are Indiana Jones.
All right.
You will see through his eyes and experience a journey that we hope lives up to the proud legacy of Indiana Jones. When Todd Howard first told us about his vision for the game, we knew we would be a very good fit to help bring it to life.
I've wanted to make an Indiana Jones game forever. I had this idea for what it would be like and the story, what Indy was going after, what period of his life it was in, what kind of arc he was going to have. And as the years went on, I thought, who would be like the best studio in the world to make this? And it was my friends at Machine Games. I can remember pitching Lucasfilm on the game and being, a little bit nervous because, look,
It's gotta be a nerve-wracking
Indiana
experience.
Jones, and their response was just overwhelmingly positive, and just that excitement has bled through the whole project, and they have just been so trusting and supportive of everything that we want to do with the game. It's been a long time. I've been a fan of this my whole life, and I couldn't be more excited to show you what the team here has been up to. Let's take our first look at the new Indiana Jones.
All right.
Let me tell you what you are missing, Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you.
Looks good.
Maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning, instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
Well, it's Harrison Ford's face. That's cool.
Myths. History.
Wow, he sounds a lot like Harrison Ford too.
There's different ways to interpret the past. Thousands of years of humanity's thoughts and beliefs, scattered and buried.
Love it.
Just waiting.
Troy Baker is confirmed, I think, playing Indy.
You can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
It's a little bit different. The face is a little bit their own take on it. Close, though.
Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you get a perfectly aligned circle.
It's uncanny. Like, there are certain angles that definitely look like Harrison Ford, and then others,
I've had run-ins with these guys before. Trust me, it ain't a walk in the park.
Okay, then. Let's see if we can keep up.
What do you mean if I can keep up?
Man, there's probably nothing that... I wonder if I'll be able to put this up on YouTube because of the music. I'll see if I can break down a little bit.
Patron of the fallen angels. Protector of the Chirkulimani. The Great Circle.
That name probably could use some work.
You have any idea how old that was?
Indiana Jones is such an iconic character, and he means so much.
That name
to
is
so many
bad.
people.
That name is not great.
Everyone here at the studio has their own indie stories and memories. Most of us grew up with his adventures and have been fans of the movies and the character for years. He's a brilliant archaeologist, he's a charismatic everyman, he's passionate and determined. And for us, he's synonymous with
I mean,
adventure.
I don't know the story of Indiana Jones, but at the same time, the Great Circle, unless there's some crazy, amazing narrative, that seems like a weaker title.
Machine games, we do that best through first person. It's the ideal perspective to bring you into the rich, exciting...
It seems like a title that was chosen for SEO. Like, Great Circle. No one's using that.
Making each action feel like your own.
Whether it's cracking your whip, solving puzzles in ancient temples, or seeing your knuckles go bloody in a fist fight, all these moments are much more
It's first person.
first person.
But we still want you to have those moments.
I wonder if there's going to be an option for third person?
And so for things like cutscenes,
Probably not, but...
we pull the camera back for a third person.
Okay, thank you. They wrote this trailer for me.
Is set between Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade.
We had to de-age Troy Baker 30 years, just like they did in the Dial of Destiny.
Sounds of a break-in and rushes to confront the thief in the college museum. The mysterious giant of a man makes off with what seems to be a historically insignificant artifact, sparking Indiana's curiosity. Following the trail, Indiana
They clearly picked up on Harrison Ford's pointing in every single movie.
He starts pulling at the strings of a mystery. And
They leave a tripod in the back there.
no choice but to see it through to the end, whatever the end may be.
I mean, they certainly got the treatment of the movie right. I mean, I guess that helps when you're pitching it to Lucasfilms. You better get it, right?
How clever Indiana is. That had to be one of our guiding principles when we were thinking about the type of game we were making. It would have been Indy if he wasn't using his wits to get through the situation.
This seems like a first-person Uncharted, which makes sense because Uncharted is Indiana Jones.
Sure, there will be some obstacles that will be more easily overcome with the revolver or a gun taken from a disarmed guard. But I think most of the time you'll...
Weird angle.
And to be honest,
That is a weird angle. I love the chair. I love the choice. But that is probably an angle that's like, we should have probably used something else. Maybe because it was in such a narrow hallway.
Up observing enemy patrols and using them to your advantage, or using the tools at your disposal, like the whip.
It's an amazing global adventure with action propelling you through your journey.
Yeah, this is going to sell
We have these really
a
diverse
jillion
environments
copies.
to explore. Indy's journey will take him to the forgotten temples of Sukhothai.
And going back to what we were saying earlier, though, I think that this works because we all have a historic knowledge of Indiana Jones. We don't have a historical knowledge of all these new concepts, so it doesn't quite make sense. I mean, Senua has some games behind it, but this is like a cultural touchstone, so it makes more sense about looking at concept art and thinking about how are you going to reinvent Indiana Jones. Everyone knows Indiana Jones.
John Williams is the original composer for the Indiana films, and we're really lucky to have found Gordy Howe.
Man, look at those boards.
Capture Williams' essence with his score for The Great Circle.
It really makes me feel like I shouldn't have been complaining about my video setup or audio setup when you start looking at their their recording studios.
Things like this help us bridge the gap between making a game and making a movie.
And of course, our characters do a lot to help bring the world to life as well. Next to Indy, Gina is our other main protagonist. Where Indy is pursuing answers just for the sake of curiosity, Gina has a personal stake in getting to the bottom of the core mystery.
Is she a playable character?
Gina is an investigative reporter who has a lot riding on this adventure.
I wonder if they're kind of like using a little bit of the Spider-Man approach, right? Like you play as Peter Parker, you play as Miles, you play as Mary Jane. Or if she's just like a Sully character kind of thing, partner.
What do you mean we always love our villains and think we might have found our favorite one yet in Emmerich Ross. He's this intensely psychological man. He's obsessed with the human mind and manipulating it.
He's highly intelligent and the perfect foil for Indy. They're both brilliant people, compelled by their passions and obsessions, but driven down wildly different roads.
He creeps up on you and gets under your skin.
Should see a doctor about that nose. They are in Europe, so there's universal health care.
One of our models for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is adventure first. But in every Indy adventure, there are always those moments where he finds himself in the action.
That's been one of those balancing acts for us, and we've ended up with this sort of hybrid experience that mixes melee combat, stealth, and gunplay.
How you approach any given situation is up to you. You may choose to sneak around an enemy patrol, or maybe you'll just pick up a shovel and whack them on the back of the head. And when you can't use your wits, you got Indy's most iconic tool. Just like you see in the movies, one of our goals has been to make the whip as fun and multi-purpose as possible. We want to integrate it into every aspect of the game.
You can use it as a
What'd you do at work today? Well, played with whip physics.
You can use it as a distraction. And yes, you can absolutely use it in combat. Everything you'd expect from these.
This is dumb. I love it.
Puzzles are a key feature in our game.
This is going to be great. I really like this.
Obviously, there are a handful of puzzles on the main path, but a lot
Look at that. Oh, node texturing,
are
right?
just there for the players who want to experience them.
I'm just learning about that in Cinema 4D. I think that's what that was. Correct me if I'm wrong.
One thing I love about our game is the level of interactivity that we have. We have this world of mystery where anything can potentially hide a secret. The more you look, the more you'll discover.
Ooh. I wonder if they're going to replay. They got to, right? They have to replay every single one of the scenes, scenes from the movies. So are they going to like replay the ball, going down from Raiders or the box office flop from Crystal Skull? That's a joke.
Surprising twists and immersive narratives.
I love this. This is great.
It's exciting for us that we have been able to stay so true to the Indiana Jones franchise and create such an authentic experience while still being able to showcase what makes us us. We are making a game for everyone, whether you are very familiar with the franchise or not. Because at the heart of Indiana Jones is an incredible adventure, and I think that's something.
I wonder if the original plan was to actually have it come alongside the movie, or if, or maybe that's just not much of a concern anymore because they want like separate marketing cycles. That's a nice little touch. I love that little Todd Howard in the back, stealing the artifact. That's cute. I feel like more stuff like that has to happen in videos. Like, that's really cool. Man, this looks really good. The title, so bad, but the game looks amazing. Maybe the title makes more sense once you actually play it. 2024. Inevitably, probably spring 2025 when it gets delayed. But if they're not putting a date on it, I imagine they'll push. Sizzle reel. Those are cute little pop-ups. I said that before, but that's a cute little way of kind of navigating the viewer to see what's happening in like that computer executable style.
Is it animals, children, and game developers?
Our mission here at Ninja Theory is to craft life-changing art with game-changing tech.
Core to the vision of Aura is our philosophy of rule how you want to rule. Stay happy.
Creating an immersive experience like that.
Did Netflix kind of like bring that to the forefront about including outtakes, the fun of filming within the actual final product? I feel like there was was it Tiger King in the beginning of that documentary that like they would start each person, like the introduction to each person with like them setting up at the mic. The Michael J. Fox documentary did that too, where you would still, I think the title of that one was called, where you would see them kind of set up for the shot before they would actually get into the meat of the interview. Interesting. Love it. Thanks for watching. I love the underscores there. Cool. Nice. That was interesting. That was cool. That was a very... I feel like, again, it was the heavy hitter was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. 2024, they obviously were focusing on things out this year. I think we said it before. I think if you don't have the historical knowledge of some of these games, then the behind-the-scenes things doesn't mean that much, and doesn't kind of it takes on a little bit of a different kind of. It doesn't have as much gravitas. Something like Indiana Jones, man, they should have. They probably could have had a direct where it was just that, and then and sent you off with that. But you have obviously a new kind of Civ game in Aura. You have the Avowed. I can't remember the name. I think it was Avowed. And then you have Hellblade, Senua Saga, the Mana series, Trials of Mana coming out, and the Indiana Jones. But really interesting stuff. It's a wide gamut of different genres and different things for people to play. Indiana Jones stealing the show, though. Whenever you get Lucasfilms involved in a game and into a narrative game, I mean, it's just like the movie's coming out. Like, it doesn't matter, even if it's not the greatest movie, if it's the prequels or Dial of Destiny, which I gotta look up to see if that actually did well. It had to have. How could it not do well? It's gonna be it's gonna sell gangbusters. So that obviously that was the exciting thing to see. I like the Harrison Ford. I gotta rewatch the trailer again, but I like the Harrison Ford character model. I think if they went in a different direction, like they did in that Avengers game, where they kind of did a bootleg version of those people, it just wouldn't feel the same. Troy Baker playing Harrison Ford sounds great. He sounds like him. I wonder if if Harrison Ford just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, it seemed like the last one he was setting up to kind of retire his character, so maybe that was part of the consideration of Lucasfilm's not trying to get him for the role, but also, does he sound, if he's trying to sound young, does he sound too old? Does his voice have too much vocal fry anymore to actually really play Indy in his 30s for an extended period of time? You know, maybe that was a consideration. But either way, I think this was interesting. It was a good bonus ep of the Powell Not Found podcast. Thanks, guys, for joining. Probably going to wrap it up here. We are at 55 minutes and 14 seconds, and we're going to try to upload this to YouTube. Let's see what happens when I do a talk over with the Xbox Developer Direct. And again, everybody, please subscribe. We're going to have an episode. We're going to try to have an episode every single Sunday, again, for 52 straight weeks, talking about the things that I want to talk about. Go ahead, go to the YouTube channel and try to subscribe. We're eventually going to try to get this stuff on Apple Podcasts and make it a legit podcast. But yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for watching along with me. Hopefully I added some sort of cool commentary, even if it's only about videography and funny little quips about the way that they shot this stuff. I mean, that was again, it was a beautifully filmed and shot and recorded video package, if anything. Marketing for the games, but man, in terms of video quality, that was awesome. Anyway, thanks guys for tuning in, and let me make sure to tip your waiters and your video PA assistants, and we'll see you next time.
It's time to break the news. Oh no, I think I love